This is not the hike I was expecting. It's sort of a silly thing to talk about, but because it's kind of a pretentious problem is the reason why, and I don't talk about it very much. But one of the big issues with living in a van for me is having too many good things to do all the time, like too many choices. Not a whole lot of stuff that I have to do, but a lot of stuff that I could do. And it creates this very first world problem where I don't know which direction to go a lot of the time. So this morning I wake up in Montana. So happy to be back. I'm here in a place called Polebridge. I think the bakery's closed, but I'm still gonna walk around town with you, show you how great this little spot is. And loving life. And I have this message from my friend Will, whole family from, who says he's hosting a trip on the John Day River in 7 days. I'm like 5 days away from the John Day River right now. And I just got back to Montana, and I'm so excited to be back. John Day River is all the way down to Southern Oregon. And I just had to say yes. Now, to be clear, I don't really want to go. It doesn't sound that interesting to me right now. Montana is a better place than Oregon. I just like it more. However, I don't know how many opportunities that you get to take a 3-day river rafting trip down one of the most scenic rivers and kind of hard to get to rivers in America, pretty much free of charge, and go live it up with people that I really, really like spending time with. So I said yes. And that means I have to speed run my time in Montana. And I'm gonna bring you with me and show you what it's like to live in Montana for like 6 hours before I leave. And it's gonna be so sad. So here we go. So it's true, the Polebridge Mercantile Bakery is closed. One of my favorite little bakeries just because of the location. Look at this. This place has 0 cell service. We're all the way out here. You can see giant snowy mountains of Glacier National Park right over there. There's a river with amazing fishing right over that way. It's a great spot that is very undiscovered by tourists for the most part. And that bakery probably opens in like 7 days when I'm going to be in Oregon, which is, it hurts a little bit, it stings a little bit to think about, but it's all going to be okay. I'm a little bitter, so that's all. It'll wear off. Just give you a little bit of time. I took a lot of time to think today about how I want to spend my last day of relaxation here in Montana, and I found it. This mountain right here is called Columbia Mountain. It's usually about almost a 12.5-mile hike round trip to do it. That's on the trails though. And when I think if you're in the mountains and if you really want to have an authentic Montana experience, it's a great opportunity to learn how to navigate without the trail. So if you look right up here, there's this big rock outcropping that starts to lead up the mountain. So tomorrow morning, I'm gonna skip the trail on Columbia Mountain and get to the top of this thing to see the snow line one more time before it's summer. And that'll do it for my final day in Montana. It's probably gonna take all day, but at this point I'm like, hey, if I'm late to river rafting, whatever, I gotta enjoy Montana while I got it. So I'm gonna get a lot of rest tonight, eat a lot of good protein, prep. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna see you on the mountain. This is stop 1 of the off-roading tour. And I'm looking up at what's gonna be the biggest obstacle, I think, during this hike. I'll throw some overlay footage for you. There's a big rocky outcrop here and a rock slide that comes down towards me. And in order to be able to off-road this mountain, I'm gonna need to rock climb over this thing and get up the rock slide. So that's the plan right now. My favorite part about off-road navigation in Montana is that knowing where you're going is actually pretty easy. Sometimes the terrain is really difficult. Sometimes you gotta challenge yourself. But unlike in places like Washington State or New Hampshire, where the trees grow so big and so close together that you can't see the sky, here you've got enough open space to see where you've been. And there's enough elevation to the land that even if I got lost, where do I go? I just head down, and all the bowls of the mountains, all the drainages sort of funnel to the same spot. Here we are. And I got the first view of the day, so that's kind of cool as well. What I got to do to get to the top of the mountain now is climb this thing. And I'm going to do it. But whenever I do stuff like this in my videos, I think it's so important to bring out the safety measures about this, because when you're choosing a route up this sort of thing, there's a lot of athletic people that could probably get a long ways up this, and this is mistakes I've made in the past. But I can only see so far up this rock wall before the peak faces away from me, and I don't know how much more climbing there is to do. So the mistake I've made is saying, oh my gosh, I could get to right there at that lip for sure, but they never think about the way down, because the stuff you can't see from right here could stop you or could be too dangerous to get up. So if you're climbing up this mountain and finally get to a point where you're like, oh, I think it's safer to go back and find a different route, if you didn't choose your route down at the beginning, you're not getting down the mountain. I've had a couple very close calls where I fell like probably just a good like 6-8 feet before I caught myself. But there was one particularly in Arizona, this trip I'm thinking of, where I almost fell off the mountain and no one would have ever found me, okay? So when we're up here, we've got to find a route where it's like, okay, I think I can get up that, but what's my route down look like? If everything goes wrong, can I get down? That's how we figure our way up this thing. Look at this, I lucked out. I thought I was gonna have to go up some of this stuff here, which I wasn't sure if I could do, but I came over the lip and I've got this nice easy little ascent to the top. Couple great footholds. I can even film while I do it. That's so nice. Okay, the rock wall has been summited. Started way down there. Now it's a pretty straight shot to the peak right here. So what I'm gonna do is that if you get over this ridge, I can follow the lip up, I think, and take the most gradual route up. So I'm gonna zigzag up this mountain to get to the peak. That might help me avoid a lot of the snow. Made it to the snow again. I bet that means we're maybe halfway there. Ah! I've got good and bad news. First off, good thing is I made it up the really steep section. You can see the top of the mountain right up here. The bad news is that I way underestimated how much snow is out here. I just fell through right here. If you want to see, that comes almost all the way up to my hip. This snow is like brutal to navigate through because you never know when you're gonna go down. I've got to find a spot with less snow if I'm gonna make it to the top of this thing. This is not the hike I was expecting. I don't think there's a way around the snow. Look at this. My only way I've been trying to get up lately is just trying to like squirrel my way up all these fallen logs and everything and trying to get to the top. But this is what I get for hiking on the north side of the face. Look how high up I am. Like, I'm not going back the same way. So the only way out is through. And I've got to get up this freaking snowy cliff in front of me. Oh my goodness. I want to show you first off the view. Made it up to a pretty good spot. I think I'm getting close to the top, but you never know with these false peaks. And one warning I wanted to issue real quick is probably the most dangerous type of hiking is this stuff right here. When it gets so steep that if you were on this slope right now, you would go for a long ways. And the only way to get up, like you could see my trail just barely, is that you kind of leapfrog from tree to tree. So you go to one tree and you jump to the next one and climb, put your feet on this, jump to the next one. This was the hardest part right here. This has been a trial, is basically what I'm saying here. I think I'm hoping I'm getting close to the top, but mountains have a way of making you think you're closer than you are. And now we gotta get down after this. Oh, we'll worry about that after. For now, I had to take a break. I'm ready though. Let's keep moving. So I made it to the top of the mountain. Obviously, not much of a view. You could just kind of see I'm at the top and there's no more up to go anywhere. So I got cell service up here and I whipped out my phone, double check where I am. I hiked the wrong mountain. Okay. Oh man, I love it. So I whipped out All Trails. Great app, by the way, if you haven't seen it. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see the screen here, but the trail is probably like a mile down this way to the actual Columbia Mountain. The good news is I'm kind of on top of the ridge of the mountains right now, so I don't have to go too much more up, but I hiked the wrong mountain still. Now, because I am not going back down that way, I have to go find this trail. That means we still have to suffer through the snow and the cold. I got two choices. One, I can keep hiking for just over another mile going this way along the ridge uphill to get to the top of the trail, or I can go a mile down, hope I run into the trail at some point down here, and then save a lot of energy and probably a lot of time on the way back, a lot of distance. Now, I was really looking forward to getting to the top of this mountain and showing you all the views. I've just shown you a couple little ones so far, but I'm getting to the point where I'm pretty uncomfortable walking through the snow in tennis shoes. I'm cold, not to the point where I'm really in any danger. I'm fine, but I'm uncomfortable now. I'm hungry. I don't have any water left, and I know that if I go for like another 8 to 9 miles, is what probably the rest of this trip looks like, then I'm gonna be hurting by the time I get back. So I'm bailing out early and we're going down through the snow, hoping it stays as hard as it has been, and we're gonna see if we can get back. What a hike. You want to see something crazy? It's not often you stumble onto one of these, but this is a deer kill site. The only thing I know which would have done it is a mountain lion, so I'm looking up right now, make sure nothing's in the trees above me, but that's pretty interesting. Definitely an old kill, but I wouldn't have thought they had a mountain lion on this mountain. It's not really connected to Glacier National Park that well, but just more proof that those populations are doing very, very well. Wow, I finally found this trail again. Look, it's a trail, and look what it comes with. Oh, that was a hike. That was such a hike. Let's get home. It's not the view at the top of the mountain, but it is a pretty good one. Oh my gosh, peanut butter and jelly has never tasted so good. Well, listen, it is currently 5:40. I left this morning maybe a little bit before 10, like 9:50 or something. That was a 7-hour day, man. That was a 7-hour, almost 8-hour hike. Oh my gosh. So I gotta turn on the jets and get down to Oregon, start driving here. We're gonna call it right there. I know this is a little different video, me suffering in the woods for a little while. Probably going to get more of that in the future, if I'm honest. So, thank you for joining me. Much love. Peace.